My name's Ellie and I'm a writer, a director and a multidisciplinary artist. I'm excited about liveness in all of my work, and my practice engages with text and archive and creating opportunities for collaboration, for people to be in a space together making a lot of noise, taking risks and exploring the sort of frictions where things work or they don't work, and where we have to open ourselves up to be porous to each other and be tender with each other, and just finding those opportunities for joy in amongst all of the noise of everyday life. During the residency, I have been exploring an idea that I'm calling We Meet in the Woods, which is a sort of interactive, playable theatre game through which the players, guided by a sort of a narrative, will be collided with each other to explore these moments of collective decision-making, where they'll be able to influence a narrative together. It will kind of hinge on consensus building and being with each other in a place. At the moment, I'm imagining that that place will be a forest, and that through the story, they will be invited to become more porous, both to each other, but also to the space around them. That might be through some tactile technologies where they press some buttons or put their fingers in the soil or do some touchy-feely stuff in the space, but also through held moments where two players will stand beneath a tree and have to decide where they want the story to go next. And the story will kind of expand from a solo position where they don't have a huge amount of agency over the story to a kind of process of exponential increase. So the story will drive them towards collision points with other players. So first, one other player. The two players will then need to make consensus about what they want the story to follow next. Those two will then be collided with another two who elsewhere in the forest have been having the same experience. They'll come together to be a 4, and my hope and intention is that that will go from a 4 to an 8, and then if there's 16 players, from an 8 to a 16. My hope is that over that process, they are building a story together that will culminate in 16 people saying, and this is how we want the story to end. And this project is really inspired by the discovery of the cosmic microwave background radiation that was detected in 1964 by some radio operators who were not looking for background radiation, but kept finding this persistent hiss on all of the recordings of all of the things they were receiving from space, and that sound ended up being the remnants of the radiation from the Big Bang that had over time flattened into microwaves that were detectable by radio equipment. And I'm really interested in exploring through this story what it might look like for the players to receive a transmission from another intelligence, and for that hiss in the game, that interference that's clouding these radio transmissions that the player is receiving, is actually the sound of the forest on the other side of the ravine saying, talk to us, listen, listen. And through that to kind of interrogate if a forest or a kind of a multiple intelligence like a forest ecosystem was going to say anything to us or communicate anything to us, what that might be. The dream for me is that you go on this journey from an individual to a hive mind that you are all contributing to and participating in together in the woods, and that at the end you've built this world, this little community together, and I don't know, maybe it ends with something like everybody sharing a meal together and just sitting in the thing that they've built. At its core, the game for me is a sort of an invitation to step outside of everyday life, outside of the noise of needing to go and have a meeting or send all those emails or do all the things that help keep you and your family and your friends alive, and well, all those things that are kind of buzzing in your brain all the time. It's an invitation to step outside of that just for a moment and to be silly in the woods and playful and do nothing in a way, because I think all of us, through the treadmill of what sort of late-stage capitalism demands of us, have been hyper-atomized, hyper-individualized to only really have the mental capacity to think about ourselves and the immediate moment in which we're existing. And I think there's something really exciting and really beautiful about being invited to think less and play more and be connected to other people that maybe you've never even met before. I would love everybody to play a game like this. I would love everybody to run around in the woods and then return to their lives. and be completely changed and decide to start the revolution right now.